Welcome back. My name is Sam. I'm here with Hamid from LegalSoft. We're going to be continuing our conversation. Today we're talking about AI, what we learned from our conference, and so much more.
Welcome to my legal academy, helping lawyers work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life.
Hello, everyone. This is Hamid Cohen, President and CEO of LegalSoft, and I'm happy to welcoming Sam MLA to this event. We were going to talk about several different things, and Sam is no stranger to you guys. So please go ahead, Sam, introduce yourself.
My name is Sam. I'm the founder of My Legal Academy, and I work very closely with Hamid for the past 5 years. And I've seen LegalSoft grow from nothing to now what it is, which is the way that I see it is one of the fastest companies for lawyers in the past 5 years. So very impressive. So Hamid, both of us have a big background, but for people that don't know us, let's quickly share how we got here very quickly.
Absolutely. It's definitely been a journey. So in my journey, it starts way back in Silicon Valley, which I spent 20 years working in high tech, some great places I worked with, great team of people. Then came to LA about 25 years ago and still stayed in high tech. And but the good thing about the high tech part was all data management, data warehousing, database oriented, which was a great help to get into legal, because legal is very data oriented and it counts on a lot of data. Then I got introduced into the legal industry about 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I saw a big opportunity. I started LegalSoft, and we worked with about 800-900 law firms. We add about 100 or so a month, and we do full spectrum of scaling law firms, from staffing them with virtual staffing and practice growth, practice setups, incubations, variety of different services which you're very familiar with. And during this process, I met you about 5 years ago, which we crossed paths in the law firm. So the high tech meets media, and then that's how it started.
And I've been a lawyer for 8 years now, but I quickly realized that I'm not a typical lawyer. I was kind of a little bit more fascinated with the online realm of generating clients. Then I got into automations, then virtual assistants, and this whole online world, the online business side of running an online law firm. And then we've been able to join forces to have multiple successful ventures together as for law firms. And now for the past 3 years, I've also been passing on things that I'm currently doing for my own law firms, passing off to other lawyers so that other people could duplicate the same success. And I actually got a comment last week. Whenever you post a lot of stuff online, obviously we have our friends and family that watch it, but 98% of people that watch it is strangers and people that don't know you. So all of a sudden they find a video of you, and here comes this guy who's talking. And so the comment was, well, if you're so successful with your law firm, why are you doing My Legal Academy? So my question is, Hamid, when you're running all these successful ventures, why create content and why share what you know best?
It's part of the journey, I think. It's like you might say, why? Not that I compare myself, but we're talking about Bezos and Elon Musk and so forth. Why are they working so hard? Why are they doing all of this stuff? Why are they doing all these conferences and content generation and so forth? Because it's part of the process. You enjoy it. You want to share your experience. You want to help others. You want to learn more stuff. So this is all sort of a recipe to that. If you wanted to put it into like, I don't need this anymore, I don't need to do this anymore or whatever, I probably would have been retired many years ago. But that's not about the money or the business or the success. It's the entire journey.
For sure. And as you said, business and life isn't just about making money. If that was the case, you just put your head down in a cave and just sit behind a computer and try to make money. But as you become more well-rounded, you realize no, there's more to it than life. There's giving, there's teaching, there's mentoring, and that's when true meaning and true happiness comes from, when you give, not necessarily from taking and just making more money. So that's the reason. You're not just trying to make money. Yes, by the way, a byproduct is also to make money from it, but most people think like have a mutually exclusive relationship with money. That if you can't be doing this and making money, no, why can't you share and give and do good and mentor and make money? If anything, the society should encourage you to do that, because the more you do that, the more you get incentivized to go do more and more of it and affect more lives. So, sometimes the culture and society wants you to like questions it, but
absolutely. Well, There's always a reason for that. In my belief, when people question this kind of thing, they don't understand how to scale themselves upward, where it gives you the opportunity to be able to do some of the things that people from the outside might look at as like, how do you have time to do this if you're running 5 companies, 8 law firms, this and that? Delegation. You delegate, you have surround yourself with a lot of good people, remote or local. In legal stuff is a lot of remote. Like in my company, we have about 200 remote staff that work for LegalSoft and 50, 60 local. If it wasn't because of those people, I couldn't be sitting here and talking to you on the camera. I could be grinding a bunch of emails and documents and stuff. But if you scale up properly, it enables you to do the more important things and more things that is makes you happier and more successful.
For sure. And as you're create this content, you're also, as you're talking and explaining things, that's where you're able to kind of understand things on a higher level. And that's also a question I get, is like, why do you teach? Because the highest form of teaching, of learning, is teaching. So these are all, again, byproducts of doing things that most people don't do. But when you do them, you do reap the rewards on the other side.
So this is the question a lot of people ask. One of my sons, goes to to the law school in Pepperdine, and one of his professors, which is a very renowned professor, is Harvard graduate, Yale undergraduate, extremely smart, working in the industry in finance for many years, and he's full-time teaching at the university, which is probably 10% of what you could be earning if he was actually practicing it, right? But he loves it. And I'm sure everybody asks him, with your credentials, with your experience, with your energy, why are you teaching and not running a big practice? He loves it. He just not doing it for money, and he just loves it, and it works.
And talking about loving something, just 2 months ago, we had our conference, MLA Live 2023. It was My Legal Academy's first time doing an in-person conference. Up to that point, it was 3 years of this virtual experience, pretty much multiple times a week, meeting on Zoom, sharing, giving, and then finally we're like, you know what? Let's bring it all in person. And we had our first conference called MLA Live. It was an amazing experience for me. I could just quickly just want to share our experiences. For me, it was life-changing because it finally, after 3 years, kind of seeing the results of all the work that we put in the last 3 years, it all came together, of all the people's lives being able to affect. And it was amazing hearing the feedback about how much the things that we do share and pass in our program, how much it's affected people's lives, not just financially, but also the freedom to be able to be a more well-rounded person, to have more time with their family, and kind of, again, focusing in on the person themselves. So it was an amazing experience. I think last time I felt like that, it felt like my wedding already.
Exactly. I was going to say that because I go to about 20 plus conferences a year for past 20 years. And yours, the MLA, was very unique and different because it seemed like everybody who was there were already related to you and was related to the event and related to each other. It almost was like like a community that came together. And everybody I talked to during and after, a lot of them contacted me and we talked about consultations and so forth. They were all felt the same way. That was like it was a reunion. Not going to one of these conferences where you don't even know 2 people in the entire conference, really. But they look like they all knew each other somehow through you and through your network.
And I think, practically speaking, and then this was the common thing. People said, like, wow, this is amazing. I feel like I didn't know everybody and I feel so close to everybody. And the reason is people were so alike with each other. And how were they alike? And I realized, wait a minute, because we've been, for the last 3 years, we've been putting ourselves out there with a lot of advertisement and a lot of content. So our advertisement and our content has been seen by millions of people. It's like 5 to 10 million people. And from that, there's been 5,000 people who have applied to our program. And out of that 5,000, there was 600 people that actually joined our program. And out of that 600, there was 100 people who came and actually invested with their time to come to their conference. So this has been the definition of filtered all the way through of, from millions to these 100 core people who are really invest in themselves, who care about growing, who are open-minded to learning and growing. And when you bring that all together in one place, that's where magic really happens.
No, absolutely. And one of the big success of some of these conferences like yours, or what happens later, because there's a lot of follow-up. Some of these conferences you go to and you come back with a bunch of goodies that you throw on the floor in your office and you don't even open it. But you come back and there's a follow-up things that needs to happen or done right after that conference. And I saw that when, I don't know, 15, 20 people right after conference reached out to me and set up a time to talk to me. And then from that, the whole bunch of new action items came up. But it was a very unique experience, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, and people while we were at the conference, we were asking about the next one, but it was honestly such a hard thing to put together. I guess we just have to go through the motions.
So let's review some of that, because I think it's going to be important to the audience to understand what makes things different than the rest of the stuff. So some of the stuff that it is very important for any of the attorneys, doesn't matter if it's new ones or established ones, is using the latest, greatest technologies and not just sitting on the sideline and watching it happen, and they have to play catch up later on. I see that a lot because on this hand, we're implementing very sophisticated case management software for the law firms like Clio, Litify, FileOne, and so forth. And I still have a bunch of law firms who are still using folders and Google Drives and so forth, and they have no case management software. It's the same thing with the lawsuit stuff. Having the true structure of the law firm that can scale up from technologies, from the staff, the virtual, taking benefit of a complete virtual staff situation, virtual law firm situation, and having a to-do list of things to implement, just like you're going to school. I think that's was one of the difference between this conference, telling people exactly what they need to do. Not vague and ambiguous, basically, what the attorneys would say, is very specific. Like if you have an intake, if you're taking in more than 10 calls a day, you need to have an intake staff. You can't do it all yourself. If you have document retrievals, you need to have a system that does it automatically, or people who use the system to do it automatically. So it was very specific to the point of what everybody needs to do to scale their practice or make it more efficient and more productive.
And it's the practical application that is always the key, and that always I saw that as the differentiator between what we do and what other people do. A lot of these other companies, the only thing that they know is marketing, and especially how to market you to bring you on as a client. But when it comes to the actual either marketing for law firms or running the operations and scaling a law firm, it's a completely different language than scaling a marketing company. Anything that so make sure that whoever you work with actually has actual experience and current experience, not what they did, what their experience was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but what are they doing right now? And I think that's what separates us apart from the market. I mean, is both of us are running law firms, our own law firms, our own things, and these are things that we all pass on to each other. We go through those pain points ourselves with the virtual staff, with the market, the lead generation, with the conversion of how to sign them up, all that stuff. And then once we troubleshoot those things ourselves, and that's when we go say, hey, this is what works.
And I'm going to give them some example that some of the projects, some of the firms that me and you are both involved in. Like me and Sam joined in the law firm where we have over 5,000 cases with almost no local staff. There's another firm with about 2,000 cases, no local staff.
And think about that though.
5,000 cases signed up. You add a few hundred every month, and we have a small little office for that law firm.
And very lean team.
Very lean team, all virtual, network of law firms and attorneys that we work with. And I mean, a lot of people are envy of that, but it is possible. And right before you, I had one of our common friends, Sean, here, where we're talking about his law practice and how he has scaled his personal injury in California. And I'm estimating he has about 45 people in his law firm, and 25 of them are virtual. Yeah. And that's how he was able to do that. He always says, look, if I had to hire all of these people here, one, I couldn't afford it. Two, I couldn't find them. And if I found them, I couldn't keep them. And it's very scalable. When I tell him you need 3 more case managers, by next week, LegalSoft gives them 3 case managers, that are trained with FileOne that he uses and things like that. So he has no limitation on how to scale your his practice because now the resources are available in how to do client retention, how to do online presence, how to network. All of that is available, but people have to know how to use it. Same thing with the technologies. He deploys a lot of different technologies. His 5.1 implementation is probably one of the best. He invested a lot of time in it. He streamlined it. He uses all the bells and whistles they have. So it helps him run the better practice. And he uses other technologies like that. So that's where it's going.
What's the main pain points of in-house staff?
Is you basically you need to have people in-house only to monitor some major tasks.
As a manager or director?
Only as a managers. Well, people, different firms call them managers, directors, partners, COOs, and all this kind of thing. But it doesn't really matter. If you have one in-house intake manager, you take 5, 6 virtual intakes and put them under this person. You have one attorney in-house, you get 2 or 3 remote attorneys who work like paralegals underneath that person. So the foundation is one in-house person, but the extension and expansion is right under them. I know a firm that has 68 case managers in-house and has 120 virtual case manager assistant under them. That's how they can scale. There is no way that they could have that many case managers in-house. It's not affordable, it's not available, it's not sustainable.
Amazing. One of the things that came out of the conference, and I think one of the most valuable things that I shared was our workshop, which is the AI workshop. By the way, cheers.
Cheers.
We're kind of late, but